Welcome to Metamorphosist Media's series on NPC design using Hero Forge's miniature creation interface. And as I mentioned last time, I am preparing to run a adventure path in Pathfinder Second Edition, and I am creating NPCs that potentially will be adventuring with the PCs that my friends are playing. I have making 6 characters. This video we're going to cover 2 of them. And yeah, let's get right into it. I am making a Jix, who is a rat folk, which is a race that's available in the Advanced Player's Guide for Pathfinder. And I am looking at hair options, but I think I'm probably just going to go with bald. There are different heritages available for rat folk, and Jix is going to be a deep rat, meaning she'll have dark vision. Some of the other ones are things like a desert rat, which has the ability to increase their speed by running on all 4s, and there's a long snout rat which gets a scent type ability, that sort of thing. But Jix is going to be a deep rat with dark vision. Again, you sort of customize the body shape. Bust doesn't necessarily make sense with rats, in my opinion, because, well, they usually have glitters. So now the character Jix is a fighter and is going to be wearing studded leather armor. Jix is primarily is dex heavy and a sniper wielding a longbow, so could wear heavier armor, but with the high dexterity score, it turns out that studded is their best option. All of my NPCs start with fairly standard gear. The adventure kit is backpack, bedroll, some torches, that sort of thing. So I'm giving them all the same backpack, all the figurines. As I said, only one of these characters will end up seeing play, but I'm going to let the players decide that in character. Once they have their characters designed, they'll be able to fit any niche they need. Different poses can incorporate the weapon. As you can see. Sort of a, obviously on an inch tall miniature, there is no bowstring, but I would like to, and you can adjust poses to allow for that, because some of these the string just doesn't work. want to be able to draw a line between the two ends of the bow without having it go through her body, with the different twists and bends that you can do. You end up with some pretty uncomfortable and unrealistic looking poses. Part of the group choosing who they're going to adventure with is a exchange, basically an interview. These 6 characters that I am making are adventurers looking for a group, and they are a group looking for a 4th member. So this is going to be more of a we meet in the inn and talk than a combat situation. So some of the more action poses are not as appropriate. I like the cloak situation, but it doesn't take into account her ears. So obviously I'd have to adjust that quiver or shorten the cape. A big thing for me when it comes to character design and visualization is everything is intentional, and Jix is not hiding her the fact that she's a rat folk. I mean, it's hard to do. She's a small creature with a tail and is a rat, so it is things like the mask, things like the cloak aren't as appropriate. Jix's background, every character has a background in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, is scout. So there's some military training, there's some wilderness lore type skills. And with Jix, as I said in the last video, with all of my NPCs, I like to make their faith, perhaps their alignment, something that you can identify visually. And Jix is a worshiper of Milani the Everbloom, who is the chaotic good goddess of uprisings and basically Antifa. So it's a secret faith. You don't openly worship and that sort of thing. And the colors are red. Actually, it's brown and green. And the symbol is a rose. So I was looking for flowers for the floor, and there weren't any that were appropriate. I believe the color is actually listed as maroon, but it's a reddish brown and green. There are many small details, buckles, rivets, that sort of thing to fill in. It's a fair amount of detail in any of these miniatures. As I said in the last video, I am going to save these files, and once the group has determined who they want to adventure with, that's when I can't order all 6 of them. This is not a sponsored video, by the way, so I would order the one that is appropriate and would actually see play. As I said, we are playing remotely at the moment, so while I do usually play on a grid map with miniatures, I haven't in nearly 2 years at this point. Yep. Going with brown and green as a scout, trying to go sort of camouflagey looks. Rat folk come in many different colors and patterns and that sort of thing. I'm going with sort of the white rat, albino rat with the pink eyes look. As you can see, I do, as I said earlier, I do have the option of filtering to just show fantasy options, but I tend to go with all options because, you know, that was a beanie. That was a modern piece, and it was a possibility. Looking pretty good. Adjusting the eyes. I'm using hair texture for the fletching on the arrows. As I said, different glosses, finishes for different color styles. And this is Jix. The other character I'm going to make today is a Goblin. Now, Goblins are a standard PC race in Pathfinder Second Edition. They are slightly different than Dungeons and Dragons, but the goblinoid body type on here is the best fit. They do have a goblin choice, but goblinoid is actually better. They usually don't have much hair, Pathfinder goblins, in their, according to their racial description, and they have a big head, so sort of shrinking everything else. Turns out both of these characters are bald in today's video. Now, this character is going to be a wizard. There are different heritages available for goblins. This is going to be a charhide goblin, which means they do a little bit extra damage if they do fire damage, and they are resistant to being set up on fire, basically. Sustained fire damage does a little bit less for them. They have a little resistance to it. So that's going to be a wizard to maximize the capability of doing fire damage. Trying to go with a feminine look because, well, not with being bald, it's relatively hard to tell details on a standard size miniature. So that is looking to be a good match. Sorry for any background noise. There's maintenance is working in the basement below me, and it's quite windy today, so you might hear the window rattling too. Hats that interfere with ears are bothersome for me. That's not too bad. Standard backpack that I give all the adventurers. She wields a dagger. Very standard. I'm a mage. No armor, holding a book and a staff. The book is too big for the short arm, effectively. Trying to get it so she's looking at the book. Rather than doing that, I just have her holding it. Sort of against her hip. Can extend the arm forward, bending the elbow, straightening the elbow and bending the wrist, bending the shoulder, maybe. Should have pushed that further in front. Now for colors, the most common color is green, but it does mention that they go the range from blues to green to sort of purple yellow bruise colored, which is the angle I'm going to try to take with this. It is said not, it's totally possible, it's just not non-standard. It would be notable to thing about this character. Now, this is a worshipper of Nethys, which is the god of magic, with black and white as the colors. And her, I've got notes over here. Her background is root worker, which does talismans and magic, basically, but traditional folk magic. So I am going with a black and white theme and going with a slightly off-white because chances are very good these are not the cleanest of robes. Beige is a little too beige, I suppose. But we shall see. Fix the posture a little bit. Yeah. The handle of the dagger and the arm are bumping. Let's fix that. There we go. You're sort of resting your staff on your head, but it's there. Nothing is involved. Here's the face. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to save this here, and thanks for watching. We're going to continue this series again next Sunday, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And yeah, thanks for watching.